Hello, today we're going to be creating this particular scene in Blender. So let's get started and show you how to go through this whole thing. This is where we're starting with. We're going to be going over a tutorial from the Blender 3D by Example 2nd edition. Now, the book itself is for 2.8. So I feel like doing this example is one of those things that's worthwhile because we can show off some of the very few differences that are between the book and what is the current edition. And I highly recommend picking up Blender 3D by Example if you have not already done so. Now, this is a scene directly out of the book itself. Let's get started. Now then, in the book, the first step is to maneuver the arrows into the body and rescale them. So let's go ahead and do that. Like so. Okay, now scale it down, and I'm going to show you a nice little trick. Press N to bring up your transform menu. I am scaling this down so I get my proportions correct here. So now I'm going to be able to just copy these facts over to the other arrows to make it nice and simple for myself. Next, I'm going to stick it into the body. Let's grab these numbers. So come on now. I'm going to hold down Control and press C to copy. And one by one, transfer over the information. Could I type it out? Yes. Would that be more exact? No. It would actually take much longer. I could always round up and get close, but why? Okay, so just finish up the arrows and then move on to the Viking helmet. So let's do that. And really, I'm just putting these wherever I want, which is fine for this particular type of thing. Alright. Next, we move on to the helmet, and it is going to be all about there we go. Let's turn that off so that you can see what I'm doing easier. Here to material, and now you can see the material. Yay! Next we're going to be going into edit mode, which you can go to just by pressing the tab button. And let's make the nose guard. Okay. Now we will extrude. I want to grab these two, and I'm going to move them up just a smidge to make that kind of shape. Now, is when it wants to talk about symmetry. Down here where it says Symmetrize, jump down to there. We are going to change this from minus x to plus x to minus. And that's really just to show you where it is and how to handle that. Okay? Next, we do the next fun thing, which is completing the little nose guard here. Now, let's save it, and it will automatically save to your start. So you've made it so that this is the last place you can save it to. Unless you do a save as, which is probably the smarter way to do it. I'm going to grab these two pieces, extrude out. Now we're going to go from having a select box to a select circle, which is useful. And I'm going to extrude the cursor. I like to just press the tab or the button, scroll, rotate like so. gives me a lot more control. I've gone over to wire view so I can fix up. Now, honestly, I've always found myself irritated whenever I come across one of these in a video game, because Vikings only did the horn thing on their helmets because for ceremonial reasons. So they were actually semi-rare, and it's just sort of a pop culture thing that Vikings all wore helmets with horns on them. It's not something that they did on a regular basis. Now, obviously, this line here needs adjusting, but this is actually fairly decent. So let me adjust this one line before it drives me completely and totally insane, which it very well might. Okay, that is it. Wait. Boom. To scale this down just a smidge. And let's go over to, yes, we have to select circle. Good. Let's do this. Zoom in. Hold down shift again, and zoom in on that one. Control. There we go. And there we go. That is looking a lot better. It's okay to mess up the geometry a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfectly clean for an object like this. Okay. Now, I have this turned on, which is X-ray mode. It allows you to basically select back-facing items. I'm going to go back over to here. Select all of this. And then I'm going to tell it to Symmetrize. Let's undo that. I'm going to select the faces, and I'm going to turn on circle, hold down shift, select everything there, and now let's Symmetrize. There we go. Now you see that I've made this little artifact here because I did not follow the tutorial perfectly. In order to fix this, I'm going to have to do some edits. Honestly, I kind of like the bar there. And I will delete the extra faces after spending a great deal of time selecting as many of them as I possibly could. So now, save. Now I'm going to turn the back facing off. That looks how it needs to look. Now, let's move on to the next step, which is, I believe, adding studs. This is going to be served best this way, and so grab all of these, do the same on all sides, except for the inside of the helmet, obviously. That. Okay. Now, I will click on select, go down to checker, deselect. Boom. Now, which method does? Okay, so first you have to go to your transform, click global. have your bevel selected, select your bevel, and pull outward. This will create your studs. Also make certain that you've got vertex selected, and you can adjust it further from there. Make certain that I've got it all the way undone so I can show you again. Zoom back in. I have global, not local. Select there. Pull it back. Why does it have to be there? Have your transforms, turn on that. Global. Vertex. Like so. And now we're going to go to Extrude Individual. Same as before. Pull it out just a smidge. Make certain that nothing crazy is going on, like what's going on here in the back. And let's go ahead and bevel it by edges. You gotta do it just right. And there you go. Save. Put the helmet on the head. To view. Go to wrong. Just press S to scale the whole thing down correctly. Move upward a bit. Medium rotation. Okay, now let's move on to rendering the final image. Okay, so we need to turn on the visibility for the lights. Viewport shading is the one to go with. It's the circle number 3. This is how you basically preview everything in your game, in your scene, before you go to do a proper render. Now, this is pretty cool, right? You should see it as pretty cool because you just maneuvered all your way through this portion of the textbook. Congratulations, you have now edited a scene in someone else's work. This is actually a large percentage of what a person in 3D modeling typically has to do on a regular basis.